Hey, good afternoon, everybody. J Rock here at Moonshine Mafia. Got a question about how do you know where to put your sets to be successful? Well, that's a good question. And a lot of times it depends on what you're looking for and everything. Well, today we're out here looking for coyotes and stuff. So, coyotes are a traveling predator. They like to travel so they can cover a lot of grounds and look for what they're hunting for. So, what I'd like to look at for places, pipelines and water lines and stuff like that, where they run across the mountainsides. You know, West Virginia is filled with gas lines right now, and those are very, very good travel corridors for coyotes. And so I want to take a look around here. This is one of the landowners gave me some permission to try some test trapping up here, and I'm going to try. But my son right here will span out and look. There's a road and stuff over here, and we're in the middle of nowhere. There's no other flat open areas and stuff like this, and they come through here a lot of times, especially because of the road and everything. It winds and stuff through the hillside, and there's a lot of places where they can go off to different ridges or stuff like that. And it's become, because of the population of the coyotes, that because we're within a mile of town, believe it or not, coyotes are coming near and near into town. They're looking for things to eat, your garbage and stuff like that. People leave their garbage out. Hate to say it, but pets and stuff that get left out of a night or unsecure. A lot also, people live just outside the city limits, have chickens nowadays, which is really accessible. So they don't require on big farms to steal stuff like that. So as we look over in here too, this looks really thick. It looks really, really thick because now we got fresh snow on there. Now, what I normally recommend is people come out on days like today, if they can, if it snows early enough in the season, to come and see if you can find sign. That's rule number one. You want to set on sign. Can't say that enough. If you don't have any sign, ain't nothing there. Or it's there before the snow or after the snow. So always look for sign. Now, for the gentleman that asked about for raccoon hunting and stuff like that, how do you hunt up in the mountain ridges for raccoons? Well, just the same as anything, except their paths are a little bit smaller and they look for a little bit different predator. Raccoons like creeks and spillway paths and stuff, so always stay near your creeks and stuff. I had raccoons all the time showing up on the game feeders after my corn, in the back on the boondocks in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, there's coon there. But to get your successful numbers for raccoon, you want to stay near travel corridors such as creeks and streams or places like that. What I also want to talk about, a lot of people don't look for them because everybody's into coyote craze. But fisher. No, a lot of people don't know what fisher is or don't usually see them out in the wild. Well, if you do, you'll never forget what they are if you come close enough. They're a mean machine. So, but all times enough, predators are like the fisher are looking for small game animals. That's their forte. Now, just like a gray fox can climb a tree to get a squirrel and get in the nest and things. A fisher can too. A lot of people don't know that. Those little boogers got like 3/4 to 1 inch claws. They can climb trees. And boy, I tell you what, if you get your dog into one, he'll know it too, because they'll rip into a dog. But a lot of products that are out for fisher use a knees. Well, what in the world's a knees? Here's the best way I can tell you. If anybody's ever had some good licorice, that sweet smell off of licorice, that's a knees. It sounds crazy, but they have a sweet tooth. They like a knees. Also, a lot of manufacturers won't tell you, but when they're making bait for the fishers, they have a lot of horse meat products and stuff like that. Now, it's okay, but when it comes to a fisher, and you want to make some homemade bait, and I've tried it, I would stick with either chicken or ham, or everybody's go-to up in the mountain is deer meat. But I'd make sure the deer meat's plenty tainted. Like, get one of those bucks that got some real strong taste in meat and you don't really want to eat it. That's some good fisher bait right there. And mix that with some anise a little bit of garlic, a little bit of pepper. I put it in sodium benzoate, 1 tablespoon per pint, and try a little bit of messing around with it. You know, people say, well, Hall Baker's works for me, or Trap Shed works for me, or Coots works for me, or one of the other big brands. But well, that's junk and that's junk. No, no, no. Everything where they come from, like a certain little thing. I mean, one product's not as good as another, but they're all good. So if it doesn't like something, move on to the next thing. It's very easy. Something that people like, when you make your sets, you know, what's the difference between a gland lure, a food lure, a curiosity lure, and by God, they got so many names for things these days. Just trying to sell a product. Don't get caught up in it. Trapping is simple. They were trapping back well before this country was made, and they're still trapping today. Don't get caught up in all the commercial products. Just learn what you can from the old guys. Find something we work, be happy with it, and experiment, and make trapping fun. Now, what you folks can't usually see is, in some of my videos, is my son's behind the camera right now. He's 14 years old, and he loves trapping and getting out in the woods. And I can't be more proud because he's not in the video game world. Often enough, these video games and stuff like that rob our children of good work ethics and respect and stuff. And I tell you what, spend a lot of time with your kids out in the woods or even fishing, because it's coming spring soon. It does a lot of bonding and a positive male role modelship, or female. You can't just always leave it to the male. My wife does a really good job at coming out with my son on the tough days. He's been looking for things and stuff like that. She'll hop into side by side, and by golly, she's out there, she's having fun. The kids are enjoying it, and that's all I can say. That's rule number 2, and that's all the rules I got. Set on sign and have fun, and don't make it complicated. From me to you, have a nice day.